Good evening, class 10, chemistry, unit 9, acid, base, and salt. Continued. Question number 3, define a salt, indicator, and universal indicator. A salt. A salt is a chemical substance formed by the partial or complete replacement of hydrogen of an acid by a metal or electropositive radical अर्थात मेटल वा इलेक्ट्रोपोजिटिभ रेडिकलले एसिडको हाइड्रोजनलाई पूर्ण रूपमा हटाएको अथवा आंशिक रूपमा हटाएर कि पुरै रूपमा कम्प्लिट अलिअलि मात्रै हटाएर जुन कम्पाउन्ड बन्छ जुन सब्सटेन्स बन्छ केमिकल सब्सटेन्स त्यो नै सल्ट हो. Actually, a salt is generally salty, but all salts are not salty. There are different types of salts. Some salts are soluble in water, some are insoluble in water, some are strong, some are weak salt. Some are acidic from strong acid, some are basic or alkaline salt. Some salts are neutral. Neutral salt, acidic salt, basic or alkaline salt, soluble salt, and insoluble salt. Generally, salts are made from acid and base or direct combination or by double displacement reaction. Example: sodium chloride, copper sulfate, calcium sulfate, potassium iodide, ammonium chloride. They are generally soluble salts. Indicator, सूचक. An indicator is a substance which changes its color when treated with an acid or a base or an alkali. इन्डिकेटर भनेको एउटा यस्तो सब्सटेन्स हो जसलाई एसिडमा वा बेसमा राख्दा जुन सब्सटेन्सको कलर चेन्ज हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ इन्डिकेटर हो. भनेको मतलब इन्डिकेटरले एसिड र बेसको कलर चेन्ज गर्ने होइन, इन्डिकेटरको कलर चेन्ज हुन्छ. फर इक्जाम्पल, रेड लिटमस पेपर, ब्लू लिटमस पेपर, मिथाइल ऑरेंज and phenolphthalein are co-indicators. Universal indicator. A universal indicator is a mixture of ordinary indicators. Ordinary indicators means when different ordinary indicators are mixed, a universal indicator is formed. It is graduated from 1 to 14. 1 देखि 14 सम्म लेखेको हुन्छ. 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. 7 is neutral. Below 7 like 6 5 4 3 2 1 acidity increases. यो एसिडको मात्रा बढ्दै जान्छ, रेड कलर बढ्दै जान्छ. हाइली एसिडिक 1. From 7 up 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 basicity or alkalinity increases. यसको बेसको क्षारको मात्रा बढ्दै जान्छ. एसिडिटी increases above 7 and acidity increases below 7 and alkalinity or basicity increases above 7. Write or mention properties of acids. What are the main properties of acids? और the अम्लका गुणहरु के हुन्? Physical properties. Physical property. Here I write in points and you can make sentences. Color. See, physical properties. Sour in taste. Sour in taste. Corrosive in nature. Sour in taste, corrosive in nature, gives a hydrogen ion in water, changes blue litmus into red, methyl orange into red, methyl orange into red, and phenyl phthaline, phenolphthalein into colorless. general physical acids are sour in taste, corrosive in nature, but organic acids are not corrosive. They are mild. Corrosive means burning effect. छालामा राख्दा पार पार्ने in nature. Gives a hydrogen ion in water or in solution. Changes blue litmus into red, methyl orange into red, and phenolphthalein solution into colorless. So acid is not suitable for phenolphthalein test. यो colorless मा जान्छ. Physical properties, chemical properties. Chemical properties of acids. Generally, I draw a one-to-many diagram. For example, to understand acid reacts with base. Acid reacts with metal, and acid reacts with carbonate. Acid, metal, base, carbonate, etc. For example, acid reacts with base. One example, hydrochloric acid plus sodium hydroxide base gives plus, minus, minus. Positive, negative, positive, negative. Positive of this, negative of the second. Positive of radical, negative radical. Just crisscross. Positively negative सँग, negatively यो negatively यसको positive सँग. Acid and base. Sodium chloride plus water. Double displacement reaction. One, acid reacts with the base to form salt and water. Metal also. Acid also reacts with some metals like sulfuric acid reacts with zinc. Here dilute sulfuric acid, dilute, it gives zinc sulfate and hydrogen. This is the chemical properties of acid, chemical properties of base, as well as preparation of salt. एसिड को केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी अथवा बेस को केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी भनेको के रहेछ त भन्दा सल्ट बनाउने तरिका. प्रिपरेसन अफ सल्ट फ्रम एसिड एन्ड बेस, फ्रम एसिड एन्ड मेटल. दिस इज द केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी of acid as well as preparation of salt. Third one, acid reacts with carbonate or bicarbonate. See, for example, hydrochloric acid reacts with sodium bicarbonate. What does it make? Plus minus. See, sodium chloride is formed. Along with sodium chloride, what is left? The C. What is left? Sodium and chlorine. Hydrogen, CO2. Here water is formed and carbon dioxide gas is also formed with carbonate or bicarbonate. Carbonate or bicarbonate. Another, sulfuric acid reacts with carbonate also. Say potassium carbonate to form what? Potassium sulfate. And H2CO3, H2O plus CO2. See, and chemical properties mainly in three: acid and base, acid and metal, acid and carbonate and bicarbonate. Generally, another property of acid is one property of acid. Very important property of acid is gives a hydrogen ion in water. For example, hydrochloric acid gives a hydrogen ion in water. This is a very important chemical property of acid. Another, HNO3, nitric acid, gives hydrogen ion and nitrate ion in water. Continue. Question number 5. Classify bases. Bases may be strong and weak base and strong base, or soluble base and insoluble base. It may be, bases may be strong and weak also. Strong bases produce hydroxide, more hydroxide. Weak base produces less amount of hydroxide slowly. And another is soluble base and insoluble base. If bases are soluble, they are alkalis like potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. These bases are soluble in water, so they are also called alkalis. These soluble bases are called alkalis, but all bases are not soluble. Some bases are insoluble in water, like copper hydroxide, iron hydroxide, or ferric hydroxide, aluminum hydroxide. These are bases, metallic hydroxides or oxide, like iron oxide also, but they are not organics. They are only bases because they are insoluble in water. Question number 6. Classify acids. Acids can be classified on 3 categories: on the basis of saturation, on the basis of strength, and on the basis of sources. On the basis of here organic and inorganic, on the basis of sources. On the basis of saturation, dilute acid and concentrated acid. Dilute acid contains relatively less amount of solute, whereas concentrated acid contains relatively more amount of solute. Strong acid and weak acid on the basis of strength. Just by the name, strong acid reacts very fast and weak acid reacts very slowly and gives less amount of hydrogen ion. Strong acid, more amount of hydrogen ion, fast. Strong acid, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid. These acids are very strong and react fast. Weak acid, carbonic acid, oxalic acid, tartaric acid, lactic acid, citric acid. These organic acids are generally weak acids. Third category, on the basis of sources, acids can be classified as organic acid and inorganic acid. Organic acids are those which are derived from living organisms like lactic acid, citric acid, tartaric acid, amla, etc. Inorganic acid, they are also called chemical acids made by human beings like hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, carbonic acid, nitric acid, boric acid, phosphoric acid. Bases, soluble and insoluble, strong and weak. Acids may be dilute and concentrated, or strong and weak, or organic and inorganic. Dilute and concentrated on the basis of saturation. On the basis of strength, strong and weak. On the basis of sources, organic and inorganic acids. Question number 7. Classify salts. Salts can be classified in 3 ways: colorless and colorful. Some salts are colorless, some salts are colored. Like copper sulfate is colorful. Ammonium chloride is also colorful. Some are white color, some are red color, green color, etc. Some are colorless. Soluble and insoluble. Soluble in water and insoluble in water. Acidic salt, basic salt, or neutral salt. For soluble salts, sodium chloride, potassium iodide, sodium iodide, copper sulfate, sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, sodium nitrite, sodium nitrate, potassium nitrite, etc. are soluble. Insoluble salts, they are not soluble in water. Calcium carbonate, zinc carbonate, lead chloride, silver chloride, barium sulfate are insoluble in water. They don't dissolve in water. Neutral salts, neutral भन्नाले strong acid, strong base, both strong or both weak भएमा neutral salts हुन्छ. Neutral salts are those which are formed by the chemical reaction of strong acid and strong base, or weak acid and weak base. For example, sodium chloride. सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड र हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड स्ट्रङ बेस हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड स्ट्रङ एसिड स्ट्रङ बेस र स्ट्रङ एसिडबाट सोडियम क्लोराइड पोटासियम सल्फेट हेरौँ यहाँ पोटासियम हाइड्रोक्साइड र सल्फ्युरिक एसिड पोटासियम सल्फेट पोटासियम क्लोराइड पोटासियम हाइड्रोक्साइड र हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड सोडियम सल्फेट सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड र सल्फ्युरिक एसिडबाट बनेको सोडियम क्लोराइड पोटासियम सल्फेट पोटासियम क्लोराइड सोडियम सल्फेट आर न्यूट्रल salts. Acidic salts are those which give more hydrogen ion in water. They change blue litmus into red and produce hydrogen ion. For example, acidic salt, strong acid. जसको नामबाट हुन्छ एसिडिक भन्यो भने स्ट्रङ एसिड विक बेस स्ट्रङ एसिड बाय द रिएक्सन अफ स्ट्रङ एसिड एन्ड विक बेस कपर सल्फेट कपर हाइड्रोक्साइड इज विक बेस सल्फ्युरिक एसिड इज स्ट्रङ एसिड हेर्नु त विक बेस स्ट्रङ एसिड सल्फ्युरिक एसिडबाट कपर सल्फेट हो क्याल्सियम नाइट्रेट हेर्नु त क्याल्सियम हाइड्रोक्साइड विक बेस त्यसैगरी नाइट्रिक एसिड स्ट्रङ एसिड हो स्ट्रङ एसिड नाइट्रिक एसिड विक बेस क्याल्सियम हाइड्रोक्साइड फेरि अमोनियम क्लोराइड स्ट्रङ एसिड हाइड्रो HCl हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड विकमा चाहिँ अमोनियम हाइड्रोक्साइड बेसिक और अल्कलाइन सल्ट बेसिक सल्ट और अल्कलाइन सल्ट दे आर द सल्ट्स which are formed by the chemical reaction of strong base or strong alkali with weak acid. बेस चाहिँ स्ट्रङ बेसिक र अल्कलाइन छ भने स्ट्रङ बेस स्ट्रङ अल्काली तर एसिड चाहिँ विक हुन्छ फर इक्जाम्पल सोडियम कार्बोनेट हेरौँ त सोडियम कार्बोनेट कसरी बनेको छ सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड स्ट्रङ बेस कार्बोनिक एसिड विक एसिड स्ट्रङ बेस विक एसिड सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड कार्बोनिक एसिडबाट सोडियम कार्बोनेट पोटासियम बाई कार्बोनेट यो कसरी बनेको छ हेरौँ त पोटासियम हाइड्रोक्साइड र कार्बोनिक एसिडबाट सोडियम बाइकार्बोनेट सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड स्ट्रङ अल्काली कार्बोनिक एसिड विक एसिड अब न्यूट्रल बनाने बोथ स्ट्रङ एसिडिक बनाने स्ट्रङ एसिड विक बेस बेसिक अल्कलाइन बनाने स्ट्रङ बेस और स्ट्रङ अल्काली विक बेस एसिडिक बनाने स्ट्रङ एसिड विक बेस बेसिक और अल्कलाइन बनाने स्ट्रङ बेस स्ट्रङ अल्काली and weak acid.